Welcome to Clone Questions Live, episode 36, the PM edition, the evening edition with me, Paul, your clone coach. We are live every Friday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time and 9:30 in the morning as well. We did our 9:30 morning edition already. Let me add my little note here. Pick a number between 1 and 420. Please share. Oops, that was my bad. Pick a number 1 to 420 to win. Please share this live as you join. And let us know where you're joining from. Post that up. Welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's had a good week so far. Excuse that little mess up comment there. But let us know where you're joining in from. Please share this live as you join. As you know, every episode we do a giveaway of the 14-day quick guide as well. So that is the little game that we're able to play, hence the picking a random number between 1 and 420. If you don't know, now you know. Enter that guess in the comments. And at the end of this episode, we're going to pick a random number. And whoever gets closest without going over gets to win. This morning's episode of Clone Questions Live, so I'm just finishing up the obligatory joint here for the episode. This morning's episode was pretty good, I'd say. It's pretty fun. And some good questions about we tapped into like the working ratios of like production. So like how much production staff should be doing in a working day. That's really bright. It's not coming down. And we also hit on a lot of kind of all the journey I've been on of researching down the path of bringing my own rooting hormone to market. So we hit on what's the update of the Clone Coach rooting gel. We hit on what's to come as far as that goes. We hit on some not secrets of the industry, but just some realizations of, rooting products and what I'm trying to do different. And just know that there is an update coming. There's going to be more samples, and then soon, shortly afterwards, hopefully, there's going to be some product available for everybody to purchase. So, who wants to know a little bit? Who wants to know a little bit more about the Clone Coach rooting program, the rooting gel trial, and the update there? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat here. That's what I've been working on in the background and having conversations with manufacturers, with EPA consultants, with EPA registered suppliers, formulators, the whole nine. Like trying to figure out how to get this done in the right way. Let me catch up on the chat here. We got Michigan in the house, Victorville. We got Sacktown, Denver, Virgin Islands, Louisiana. Nice to hear from everybody. Welcome, North Michigan. What's going on? North Michigan Exotics in the chat here is a Clone Coach team member, along with Mr. CB Growing, or Mr. C Growing for B. Got a handful of Clone Coach team members. Happy Friday, everybody. Washington in the house. But yeah, guys, happy Friday. We got the Garden State in the house. We are also talking about the white fuzz, right? The white fuzz on top of the rooting cube. Who saw that post that I put up from a picture that somebody sent me of the white fuzz that they're dealing with on top of the cubes? Who wants to chat about that? Who has some questions about that? I'll give you a little. I'll say this about it. It's not a negative pathogen. It's not a bad bacteria. It's not a bad mold. It's not a bad mold there, basically. It stems from the peat, the peat that's inside that cocoa peat based plug. Peat and moisture in the right environment there, you'll naturally get that that trichoderma to show itself and colonize. And this, I mean, basically, if you have good, you know, good bacteria there, good fungus, good mold taking up the space, and there's less chances of bad pathogens taking hold. So whoever deals with that, just know you don't have to worry. It is more of a visual nuisance, I would say, but it's not a negative effect on your clones. But that was a pretty fun post. I mean, there's probably 140 comments on that post, just amongst all the insight and everybody's thoughts and whatnot in there. Because it's not the first time people have seen it, and I think that's why some of these like boil boil tech and stuff comes into play. Because like, oh, I got to sterilize my plugs, and you do, or it's not. It's good to know what you're starting with. Um, but myself, I like to inoculate my cubes, so just knowing that there's still just more understanding what you have in front of you, I think, is the biggest picture there. Because I remember a lot of times like opening cases of these cocoa peat based plugs, like especially like the 4-inch cubes, and they're wrapped in plastic and they're all kept, they're humid and stuff, right? So when you open them, you'll see this like thick white layer um, of mold on these cubes, and people would freak out, and people are like thinking they touch it and contaminate it, and they're going to spread powdery mildew all over the place or something. And it's like, you need to understand what you're looking at and where it stems from, and whether it's good or bad. So most people that deal with it, they'll acknowledge and say that, yeah, if you leave it untouched, it just goes away. It doesn't get bigger, it doesn't take over, doesn't grow, doesn't cover your leaves with anything. It's just that initial undisturbed environment ripe for that trichoderma to show itself, stemming from the peat moss that are in those cubes. We got a question here. I see Eric Ando 20 says, have you ever tried to clone a rooted clone, let's say for scheduling purposes? I know we've all right. Yes, the simple answer is yes. Like, but it wasn't for scheduling purposes. But like, I was visiting a client, and they sourced genetics from another nursery, and I was there when the genetics came in, and the tray of clones. There's multiple trays because they had a minimum order they had to place. Were just super inconsistent. You had little shorties, you had big, like hardy ass tops and teens, and the whole tray was like this like big round shape of like different size clones. So instead of just like using that as a starting point, what we did, I was like, look, just clone this plant. You just want the genetic, just clone these clones. So we took snips of the best clones and just rerouted those in our fashion so that we could start the tray nice and uniform, and got rid of the rest, and we kept the genetic, rerouted them, nice uniform fashion, all even, and started the crop from there. So yeah, we have cloned, we have cut and rooted a clone that was still in a plug, a rooted clone there. Funny question, but it's happened for sure. Let me catch up on this chat here. Happy Friday to everybody. Clone Questions Live episode 36, y'all. Let's see here. Yeah, Eric Ando asked that question again. Yes. I've done it. Turp Village says I have. It could be done 100%. Yeah, I mean, it could be done. I mean, think about it. I mean, you could root most any part of the plant. So, there's no reason why you couldn't. And if you needed to keep both the original clone and the clone that you cut from it to make a new one, just make sure to leave some nodes behind, at least a set of nodes, the last set of nodes behind on that stem for some regrowth to happen. If you remove all the nodes, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So little extra tip there. But who wants to hear about the journey that I've been on for bringing a rooting hormone product to market? First of all, who out there has tried the latest Clone Coach rooting gel trial? Who out there has tried? Who out there's part of that trial? I mean, I sent out quite a bit of samples, and guys, I was really thinking that a rooting gel was going to be the path. And the more I'm researching, the more I'm analyzing the same thing over and over again. trying to see where to improve or how it's different or whatever, a standard rooting gel, it's not too far off from what's out in the market to what's available to you, right? Like, it's hard to compete. Not terribly hard to compete, but it's just you got the same thing that everybody else does. So that's why I've been more focusing on how to be different. And as a quick sneak peek, who wants to see an example of what I am more than likely going to be going towards instead of a rooting gel? Because I learned a lot about the manufacturing process of rooting powders and rooting gels, devouring all kinds of MSDSs and, for all these products and trying to find active ingredients, inert ingredients, all the things that go on inside of a rooting product. And I kind of settled on the fact that it's tough to stomach the less than half of 1% concentration of active ingredient inside of a product, because you need to realize when the active ingredient is 0.3%, and in learning about the manufacturing process of like how to make a gel, usually add about 1% of a powdered gelling agent. So you got like 1.3%. The remaining 98.7% of that gel is water, y'all. Is water. 98% plus water inside your rooting hormones. Why? Because they're ready to use products, right? They're ready to use. You don't dilute them down. You can't use them in any other method or fashion. It's a ready to use product. Hence the super low concentration, because that's all you need. Same thing with rooting powders. The powder that you dip the end of the stem in and you plug. 99% of that product is talc, just agricultural based baby powder, talc. Okay, it's a filler. It's a carrier for the active ingredient. But remember, there's very, very, very little, less than 1% of the active ingredient inside that ready to use product. So you're paying for 98, 99% filler, be it water, be it talc, whatever you think. So what do you guys think about that? What do you guys, I mean, I'm going towards a product that is a concentrate. Okay? It's a concentrate. It's not ready to use. It's not ready to use. So that's going to be like the educational part. Like, it's not just dip it and stick it. It's concentrate, y'all. But like with most concentrates, you're going to get a better bang for your buck as far as the active ingredient goes. Okay? So let me give you an example. Here. In a 1 liter of rooting gel at 0.3% concentration, that amounts to 3 grams of active ingredient inside that 1 liter or kilogram of a product. So a 0.3 concentration, you have 1 liter total of solution, a product, a gel, what have you. You only have 3 grams out of the 1,000 for your active ingredient. Okay. So what I intend on doing is having not 0.3%, not less than 0.5%. I'm talking 20%. 20%. All right. 20% concentration, to where you can make any strength solution that you need for whatever you're rooting. Some things are harder to root. Some things are slower to root. Some things are easy to root. You don't have the ability to adjust your concentration strength with ready-to-use products. With concentrate, you absolutely have the ability to adjust the concentration to your specific needs. And that, I like that. That's a win for me in my eyes, Excuse me. That's a win in my eyes. So that's like problem number one to solve is the ability to adjust concentration. Problem number two, or problem number one was the 98, 99% filler, water or just filler stuff. So that is being solved with making it a concentrate. The inability of adjusting concentration gets solved with having a concentrate. And lastly, the ready to use products, you only have basically one method of application, right? You dip it and you use it. That's it. You can't spray it, you can't soak it, you can't do anything. But, he's the ice cream man? Shout out to the ice cream man. But with this product that I am formulating to be the Clone Coach rooting concentrate, instead of the Clone Coach rooting gel, what I'm formulating is a product that can be used in multiple application methods. Let me explain. Some people use a liquid rooting hormone to dip the basal end of the stem and then plug, right? You could absolutely do that with this product. You can make a concentrate that you dip and plug your stem. Most people soak their stems in a solution either overnight or for a period of time during their workflow process. That solution that the stems are sitting in, you can make rooting concentrate solution for that soak solution, and now your stems are being soaked in rooting hormone during that time. So there really is no need to dip and apply a second layer of rooting hormone. They're already being soaked with it. You just take them from that cup and stick them. The funny thing about the auxins in rooting hormones is that they stem from the meristematic growth, the apical growth. So that auxin has to travel from the tip, newest growth, all the way down to the roots to send out more roots. What that allows is a foliar application of rooting hormones with certain formulations. You'll be able to foliar spray and let that drip down heavy enough, foliar spray heavy enough so it could drip down into your rooting media as well. And you could apply your rooting hormone in that method. So you could literally cut from the mother plant, stick it into your plug, have all your trays ready, and then spray down that tray with rooting hormone, and it will get the hormones in that method as well. Lastly, reapplications of rooting hormones to trigger more root growth, trigger more flower onsets, more vegetative growth, more nutrient uptake, a bigger root zone. You want to apply, you're able to apply that every 14 days, physiologically with the plant. But most products don't allow you to do that. This product will. So every 14 days, you could be reintroducing the rooting hormone, triggering better, faster growth from your plants, triggering a bigger harvest, bigger root zone, bigger everything. All with one product, y'all. One product to do all of these things. Think about it. In the hydro industry, how many products would be offered to you for all those different applications? Well, you got like a liquid concentrate for this one. You got another concentrate for the stem soak. You got another concentrate or another product for the dip gel. Another concentrate for the foliar. You have a bunch of different products, and once again, they're all going to be 99, 98% filler. So I'm trying to solve those problems for first of all the Clone Coach team members, and second of all, of course, everybody else in the industry. So that's what I've been working on, y'all. If you guys want a sneak peek, I'm gonna get samples out shortly too. So stay tuned to Clone Coach, and there's gonna be samples going out in the near future. Check this out. See that? Water soluble concentrate. Pointing to the other camera here. Water soluble concentrate, rooting hormone concentrate that is able to be applied via all these different methods. No alcohol, no gel, just water soluble. What do you guys think? Let me catch up on this chat here. Firecore says, I think it's great. Is it a gel for dilution or powder? It will be a water soluble powder. So it'll have other nutrients in it to give it more aid during the rooting process and development of roots. But it's a water soluble concentrate. So you need to dilute it down into water to make whatever application you want to do. And I had a thought. I want to know what you guys think. So like the gel is only 1% of a the gel is 98% water, 1% of a powder that makes gel into water, and then half a percent of active ingredient. I even thought of sorry, I got a bunch of emails coming in. I even thought of giving you that powder, that 1% powder for free, and if you all you would need is a mixer, and you could make your own rooting gel with my concentrate. I don't know. It's simple enough. It really is. So I thought about even saying if you want to make your own gel, still buy my concentrate. You can make whatever strength gel you'd like, and you make your gel in your own facility. That's only it's 98% water still, and it just needs to be mixed. And that water with that powder turns into a gel. The active ingredients already in there, and that's all that it is, y'all. There's not too many complicated items in that process for making rooting gel. Let's see, we got Massachusetts here. Jay Wiz says rooting rosin. That's funny. That concentrated hitter. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. Rooting rosin. That's funny. If it was that same kind of consistency, that'd be a funny little play on words. I like that. Let me catch up on this chat here. Quick question from D's Bud says, is it a must to water until runoff for my moms? Thanks, Coach. Ideally, you don't want to be stacking a bunch of water without getting runoff with your mom plants. I like getting that flush, and especially on mother plants, getting that runoff going. So, whoops. I would recommend it. Let me catch up on this chat here. Once again, I appreciate everybody for joining. Please share this live as you join. If you got questions about rooting hormones, the manufacturing process, rooting gels, rooting powders, the EPA process. So the EPA process to bring a new product to market takes a conservative year and about 30 racks. And that's just paying labs to do testing and generating your SDS, your toxicity reports, and your REIs, and blah, blah, blah. Like all the information that the EPA wants. So it takes about a year and about 30 racks to bring a new EPA product to market, which I do have the full intention of doing, and I am going to do it. But just like the clones, there is a loophole. There is an exemption for auxins, rooting hormones, aka what the EPA would consider or call plant growth regulators. Those are the rooting hormones, the auxins, the cytokinins, and the gibberellins. All right. There is an exemption from the EPA. Why? Because these auxins and naturally occurring hormones are exactly that. They're naturally occurring. So there's really no difference between a synthetically derived or produced version of the hormone and a naturally occurring hormone that's already in plants. And it's non-toxic to wildlife, to people, to anything. There is no harm. That's what the EPA wants to ensure. They want to protect the environment, right? Environmental Protection Agency. They want to ensure that pesticides, plant growth regulators, anything aren't toxic to the environment, and if they are, how to handle them properly. The thing with rooting hormones, and specifically indole-3-butyric acid, is that it's a non-toxic, naturally occurring hormone that has an exemption because it's so non-toxic and safe and already naturally occurring in plants. So there's an exemption for registration with the EPA, which is super interesting, right? That exemption is called, the classification is called vitamin hormone horticultural products. vitamin hormone horticultural products can have all of the same claims and ingredients as a rooting hormone, as long and be exempt from registration, as long as the toxicity levels in the undiluted package that's going to be sold at is declared, non-toxic, and has to be labeled for non-food use. That gets you the exemption from EPA registration, and that saves the year and the $30,000. So best believe, y'all, Clone Coach is going to start off with the exempt product, the vitamin hormone product, first. That will allow and fund and basically fund the food registered rooted hormone product with the EPA. That does take about a year. So the stepping stone would be the exempt product to bring to the market first directly. Available on clonecoach.com soon. Just wait. It'll be here soon. From there, the year is going to pass. They've got to pay the fees. Use this ability to pay for those fees and bring a registered food grade rooting hormone to market. And then the vitamin hormone product will go away. And the only one available would be the true rooting hormone food approved use EPA registered product. So short term and long term. I was talking to my consultant, my EPA consultant, because look guys, I hired a coach to help me through this. All right, this is a journey that, sure, you could do it on your own, but it's best to have a coach to bounce things off of and make sure you're going the right direction and implement the right plays. So I even hired a coach. And I was like, look, I want to bring a product to market. What do I do? What can I do? What are my options? What about this rule? What about that regulation? What about all these things? So he confirmed that my strategy will work. I can start off with a vitamin hormone exempt product, and then while I apply, and then when that day comes, I can't just have both of the same in both tiers. So one's going to go. So the old one's going to go. Super exciting for the rooting concentrate product that I'm formulating, developing, bringing, and hopefully be offering to everybody soon. Let me catch up on this chat here. D's Bud says, I'm actually getting ready to go cut my clones right now. We got Denver in the house. Let's see here. Ghosted Grower says, that's worth purchasing. I'm really trying to make this product to make it a no-brainer to have in your garden. A no-brainer. Firecore says, what do you use to get that gel texture? It's a good question. There's a few ingredients out there that will give you that. Let me see if I could find. One of them is called Carbopol. Carbopol. That's one of them. And let's see here. And there's another one called 2-hydroxyethyl cellulose. It's like a cellulose. Basically any sort of gelling, thickening agent there. Those are two very common, very cheap items that you mix with water, and you can make a gel. You can make your own hand sanitizer with this Carbopol, some water, alcohol, whatever. You mix it up. You got your own hand sanitizer. You want to make rooting gel? You get the rooting gel, the active ingredient, the IBA. You get your Carbopol, you get your water. You mix them together. You got yourself a rooting hormone gel. Throw in some dye in there, and you got whatever color you'd like. Boom, there you have it. That is how you make rooting gel. Now, if you want to market and sell rooting hormone in the United States, that's where the EPA comes into play. So, you could always simplify everything, right? But the reality of it, there is a process and there is a lot that goes into, just like, say, your SDS for your product. There's 16 different sections of an SDS. So hence me hiring a consulting firm to, be the one to do that instead of me trying to figure that shit out. But it's very easy. It's very, very easy. The hard part is the type of mixer that you use to make that, solution. because if it has too many air bubbles or has too much like agitation and it brings in a bunch of air bubbles, then you have a bunch of air bubbles in your gel, and those air bubbles lead to contamination possibilities. So you really want something that's high quality, high shear mixer for that type of product, so that it doesn't generate air bubbles as it's mixing the gel solution. These Bud says, how do you feel about the Clonex foliar spray? I'm getting ready to use the gel spray combo. So I would have to look at the ingredients of it, but these buds, I'll tell you this: once my product is ready, with one product, you can make a foliar spray, a rooting concentrate, a soak, anything you want at whatever concentration you want to get the best results that you can from applying auxins, rooting hormones like auxins. Catch up on this chat here to see Real California Herb says, what's a good foliar spray for veg or moms? Any sort of micronutrients, calcium, iron, zinc, magnesium, sulfur, all these micronutrients, things like auxins, rooting hormones. Sea kelp has naturally occurring auxins, so that's always a good foliar spray. So, anything like that, any sort of like CalMag foliar spray, compost tea foliar spray, any sort of beneficial treat is good spray for veg and moms. Yeah, These Bud says these are all things in seaweed extracts. See, yes and no. There are naturally occurring auxins in seaweed extracts, but it's hard to find out the level, the concentration, the ppm of that rooting hormone in that naturally occurring seaweed. So that's the tough part, but I've used seaweed for years. There's only one downside of seaweed is that most of it contains heavy metals, and use it too much, use a poor quality, what have you, there's heavy metals that you're applying to your plant. So you know what that means. That means failed tests on your finished flower, potentially. See, Dank Roots Goo says, hey brother, had a question that Zero Tall 2.0 and TerraGrow root inoculant. Is it okay to mix with Athena? I've used your technique. Amazing results. Glad to have you on the team there, brother. So Athena, I assume you're just talking about the nutrients, the fertilizer, the base nutrients. Yeah, you could add TerraGrow to any base nutrients. Base nutrients are just that, your fertilizer. Your TerraGrow is your root inoculant. That's all your beneficials, your microbials, your humic acids, your sea kelp, molasses, all that good stuff. So that gets thrown on top. You can mix it with any brand of fertilizer. The thing with Xerotal and TerraGrow, Xerotal is a fungicide. Xerotal is going to kill any microbial activity, and TerraGrow is going to inoculate your root zone with microbial activity. So you don't want to do the Xerotal right after the TerraGrow, and you're going to kill everything you just applied. So apply TerraGrow. 2 weeks later, apply TerraGrow. You can do that for a handful of weeks. If you want to kind of kill and clean everything out before another inoculation, then after 12 to 14 days of applying TerraGrow, you do a Xerotal root drench at a lower dose of like 10 to 15 mils per gallon with your nutrient solution as well. And then on their next watering, you re-inoculate that with fertilizer and TerraGrow for another 2 weeks. So they go hand in hand. They just do different things. These Buds says, good for you, coach. That's awesome. Thank you. Jay Wiz says, that's a good shot, bro. That's good shit, bro, he meant to say. Firecore says, it'll be a great product with your experience and knowledge. Thank you. I appreciate that. Firecore says, good to know those gel ingredients. Going to research more about it. Yeah, I can't. I'm looking at an SDS right now because I'm researching SDSs, and I'm looking at composition information on ingredients and percentages and all this stuff, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this product here. So I've been all about it. I've kind of been obsessing about it. These Buds says, I use the raw MPK kelp once a week with fulvic acid. Started 2 weeks ago to prep to take my clones. Nice trick there. But it's the reality of what we have inside of our products here, man. I mean, literally, let me read this off. The composition information on this rooting hormone, this rooting gel, okay, ready to use rooting gel, very, very common. The first one is 2-hydroxyethyl cellulose, content 1.2%. Next line item, indole 3 butyric acid at 0.3%. So we're at 1.5% so far. Crystal violet dye at 0.0012%, more than 98%. 98 because it's ready to use. It's ready to use, but 98% water. So even in the gel, you think like, oh, well, gel's better than water. It's still 98% water. They just added 1% of a cellulose powder to turn that water into a gel, added a drop of dye, food coloring, to change it whatever color they want, and they serve it up. They serve it up. So think about this. Let me paint this picture again. In a 1 liter worth of gel, there is only 3 grams of active ingredient. 1 liter has 3 grams of indole 3 butyric acid of a standard ready-to-use gel. If you have the higher concentrations, maybe you're at 5 grams of indole 3. If you're at 0.8%, you're at 8 grams. Everything's less than 1%. So no more than 10 grams per that liter of solution, 3 to 5 grams usually. In a liter or a kilo of this concentrate, I'm going to have 200 grams. 200 grams of indole 3 butyric acid in a kilo of concentrate. A liter of gel kind of it transfers over to a kilo of powder, right? We're using a metric system. So in a liter of rooting gel costs most people 100 to 120 bucks. You get 3 grams of active ingredient. For 100 and something bucks, I'm going to be offering 100 grams of my powder, which will have a 20% concentrate, which will be 20 grams of active ingredient for the same price. So for the same price, instead of paying 3 grams, instead of buying 3 grams for 100 something bucks, I'll offer you 20. It's like, even when you break it down to like an 8-ounce bottle, that's 1/4 of that. So like 0.75 of a gram and in an 8-ounce bottle of concentrate, right? It's so little, man. But it's like I'm gonna have 20% concentration when most people have less than 1%. So that's like it's over 20 times stronger of concentrate. Let's see here. Let me catch up on this chat. Fire courses. What do you think about bloom formulas in the cloning trays? So I keep the same veg formula in cloning so that I get the same vegetative growth out of my clones once they strike roots, and there is no change in color, vigor, from what I was already expecting them from what they're being fed. So I still use veg because I have all the other variables that trigger rooting a lot more than the bloom. But the bloom formula has more potassium, right, and phosphorus. Those two fertilizers, nutrients, are good for the development of roots. So that's why some people say switch over to bloom. But the rooting hormone, the environment, all the other factors trump, in my opinion, using that PK to help your root. And plus, don't forget, your veg formula has a ratio of potassium and phosphorus in it as well. So it's not like feeding a veg formula, you're eliminating the P and the K out of your NPK in what you're being fed. You're just, if you do a bloom, you're eliminating the nitrogen. And so you could eliminate the green from your clones. When you're still in the veg, I want solid green clones. Solid green up top, white roots on the bottom. So that's why most people do the blooms or think about doing the blooms, but it's not necessary, really. But that's the reasoning behind it. But don't forget, your veg formula has the phosphorus and potassium in it. So you're still getting it. You still have it. You're not missing out on it by feeding the veg formula. Does that make sense? Firecore says, I see one fertilizer manufacturer officially recommending it. Which one? Which one? A Firecore? Who's recommending the bloom? And you could recommend anything you want, dude. Do your thing, and I would already understand their reasoning in defending that position, right? Because like I said, the potassium and the phosphorus is good for the development of roots. But once again, veg still has a P and a K ratio in it. Fire courses, paying for water. Ouch. Jay Wiz says, why do you think the big or main companies don't make a higher concentration? They're just greedy, or is it not cost effective? I like your thinking of different application methods. So, Jay Wiz, for ready to use products, you need different concentrations for different type of material, different type of plant stock. So, for semi hardwoods, the point. Let me put it in ppm perspective, because I found this out too during all this research. The 0.3%, the less than 1%, the 3 grams per liter, that ends up being 3,000 ppm concentration of active ingredient. 3,000 ppm. So that is the ppm strength that we're applying to as a ready to use product for our for most cloning gels and to our stems for our semi hardwood. So that's the concentration that's being used for ready to use. Higher than that, 5,000, 8,000 ppm is for things like hardwood, stuff that are really, really woody and stiff and really tough to root. Beyond that, there's not too many things that require higher than that amount of ppm concentration to root. Most are less than that. So they're serving you up, because there's different concentrations in the ready-to-use products, but they're serving you up a ready-to-use concentration for that particular type of plant. So the concentration level depends on the plant type. So they're not withholding ppms from you, mischievously. It's just that that's the ratio for that particular strain of plant that works. But it's like anything else, it's like fertilizer as a perfect analogy example, right? For years, everybody used water, liquid-based fertilizer, okay? And you dilute it down and you make your mix, right? But the majority of that is water. And now everybody's made a big switch to having dry fertilizers, because you're not paying for water on your fertilizer bases. And, fertilizer companies, adjusted, made the switch. Now they offer you your dry fertilizers. Same, and you dilute it down yourself. Same kind of thing. Maybe they'll come to one day, but if they do, they'll probably do it on the how do you say, the coattails of Clone Coach. Like anything else, if an industry doesn't have a need to change, they don't. Okay, most of these rooting gels have been registered for decades, and nothing's changed. They've had decades of ranking in the money to do their R&D and come up with something new. They haven't. They don't. Why? People are buying it. It works. It's low concentration. They're getting hella money for their active ingredient. They're laughing all the way to the bank, dude. It's working. Why fuck with it? So, but like anything else, concentrate is concentrate. You can't argue with that. It's it's not fluff. And as another side note, I mentioned the 98% being water, or the talc being 99% inert filler talc from my product. The other remaining 80% is not going to be filler. It's not going to be talc. It's actually going to be fertilizer. And actually going to be a little bit of the P and the K that you were talking about earlier in the bloom to help with the root development. So the 80% is not going to be filler for my product either. All 100% is going to be beneficial to your plant. That is a game changer, I think. And that's why, this is where I ended up with. Like I said, guys, I started with trying to make my own gel and whatever. It was not a bad route to go. You make a gel that works and you could be rocking, you could be killing it. But I don't know. I was not quite satisfied with that, just to accept it. And the way my brain works, I kept digging at it and digging at it and digging at it, and found this little niche. Let me catch up on this chat here. I appreciate everybody joining Clone Questions Live, episode 36. We're talking about rooting hormones. We're talking about the EPA. We're talking about fillers in your product, what you're really paying for. 98% water, y'all. Who's tired of paying 98% for water? Let's see here. Fire Core says, I prefer veg, but curious if bloom would really make an effect. Do a side by side. But for me, if I have a nursery operating, I'm not normally making bloom formula. I'm always making veg formula or have it ready to go out of the dosatron or whatever. So that's another reason. Just for continuity and uniformity and ease of the workers and the staff, there's no guessing. There's no making a new batch. There's no pH in a new batch. You got the same stuff you're feeding your moms and you feed it to your clones. And you're not mixing anything new, anything different at all. So that's another reason why I stick with the veg. Jay Wiz says, got it. Makes sense. So like an overall for multiple different plants, kind of like dip and grow can be diluted at different rates depending on plant type. Correct. Kind of like dip and grow that can be diluted at different concentration rates for different plant types. But where the differences end is right there, because dip and grow is an alcohol base and it's flammable liquid. So I spoke with Dip and Grow, the owner, actually. Manufacturing it is a bigger pain in the ass because of all the alcohol you're dealing with and the flammability of it. Shipping it could be a pain in the ass because at a certain size you can't ship this flammable liquid easily and freely and cheaply, and you cannot apply it as a foliar spray to your plants at all because of the alcohol in it. So similar in that sense, but I'm kind of combining the best of all worlds for this product. And once again, if you look at let's do it right now. If you look at the let's see, Dip and Grow, the concentration levels, and what you're paying for. Again, let's take a look at what we're paying for. 16-ounce label. Zoom in. So, active ingredient: indole-3-butyric acid and Dip and Grow, 1%. The next active ingredient is 1 naphthalene acetic acid, which is NAA. Probably butchered the name. 0.5%. So 1.5% active ingredient in this Dip and Grow concentrate. The rest, inert ingredient, listed as inert, meaning having no use, 98.5%. So once again, still paying for 98% inert ingredients. See, that's can't accept that, you know? Yeah, Jay Wiz says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. D's Bud says, fucking right, all beneficial. Use Athena from City Boys. Yeah, guys, I mean, inert ingredients, I want to put it into that shit. Like, if I can, fucking hey, do it, man. Give more benefit to your plant. So I hope everybody that's hearing about this first little sneak peek of what's to come really, really stays tuned with Clone Coach, and I'm going to have samples for everybody. I'm be sending out little baggies of, gram samples, little white powder samples through the mail to everybody to make their own concentrate, apply it in different methods, see what concentration level works best for their soaking of the stems. Like, here's this. Like I mentioned earlier, how a lot of people soak their stems? How some people send like bare like non-rooted cuts, in the mail, or have nurseries that provide non-rooted cuts. They'll usually have them sitting in water, right? If they're really good, it's nutrient solution. But with this, you could soak that in the rooting hormone. So your stems have the best chance of rooting once you pass them off to the customer to do the rooting process. Once you provide them with bare stems, they've already been soaked in rooting hormone and have the best chance of rooting as well. So even if you're not even providing rooted cuts to others, just give it to them in a cup or a solution and stuff, you could add this product to that water solution and have better success rates for you and your customers. So it's gonna be a game changer. I'm hyped about it. Maybe I'm hyped up, because I see something that nobody else sees, and I'm just like, holy shit, what do I got here? But I'm hyped on the possibility of it because it's fucking fantastic, dude. No alcohol, super concentrated, no inert ingredients, best bang for your buck. Because let me paint this picture, guys. Remember the Clonex gel, the 1 liter? There's only 3 grams in there. 3 grams of active ingredient. You're paying $100. You're paying $30+ per gram. Imagine you're buying weed, a gram of weed. You're going to pay $30 a gram, and that's when you're buying it at the bigger size already. When you buy the 8-ounce bottle, that's 1/4 of that. For the 8-ounce bottle, usually runs, what, 30 to 40 bucks, $35 or so for an 8-ounce bottle of Clonix gel. What you get in that 8-ounce bottle is less than a gram. So even at best, you're getting a gram, you're still getting a gram for 30 to 40 bucks. Okay? $30 to $40 a gram. I would never sell anybody a $30 gram, right? Think about buying weed. You never want to pay more than 20 bucks a gram, right? Back in the day, 25, you'd be like, oh, why you tax me that extra 5, dude? You want 2 for 30s, right? You want that deal. Want 2 for 20s? You're like, fucking A, I'll take those all day. I remember going to shop, getting those first-time patient deals and getting the 2 for 20s, 2 for 30s, and that's all I would buy. Go to the next shop, getting the 2 for 20. Go to the next shop, do a 2 for 20, because I knew that was the deal. So when you're buying these ready-to-use products, you're paying about $30 a gram of active ingredient. Okay, guys? To paint the picture, I'm working on the pricing, but it's going to end up being, what would that end up being if it's 20, 100, like $10 a gram or less? Depends on the volume. From like $5 to $10 a gram. From $30 a gram to about $10 a gram. Who wouldn't take that deal? Who wouldn't go from buying $30 grams that you're getting taxed at to paying $10 a gram and be able to use it in a bunch of different ways, not getting inert ingredients? Shit, it's worth what you're paying already because of all the additional benefits. Am I wrong? What do you guys think? Is it not worth the same amount of money if you could use it in multiple ways, have no inert ingredients, adjust the concentration, no alcohol, all these other benefits? It has you could charge the same amount of money. But even still, I doubt that they will, because I just want to beat them on all angles. You know, like I've tried to work with other companies to like promote their products and stuff, and I'm like, why do that? You know, it's limiting. It's short term. It's not horrible, but you know, I mean, shit. Like I said, who here that's listening would rather pay $30 a gram for ready to use, or pay $10 a gram for concentrate? Let me know in the chat for your rooting hormone. Who would want to pay $30 a gram for ready to use gel product or liquid product or powder? Who would rather do that than spend a third of the price and have 3 times as many uses for the product itself and have no inert ingredients? Who wouldn't take that deal? Would you? Would you take that deal? I'm hoping you would. Jay Wiz says, yep, LOL, that Clone Coach booger sugar baggies. You know, it's funny because it's like it is fucking a white powder substance and I'll be selling grams of and shit. I don't know. Might be a little bit of play on words there. I like the booger sugar. Maybe like cloning sugar concentrate. I don't know. I gotta think of a name. Very true from Mainline Genetics. Firecore says, I see vitamin B1 used in some formulations. Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, Firecore, the exemption of the EPA, that classification of product is called a vitamin hormone horticultural product. So generally, the rule states that you could combine your active ingredient rooting hormones with other fertilizers, inoculants, or soil amendments to develop a product that is exempt. Most of the time, it's a vitamin B1 as well, micronutrients, things like that, that get mixed into there to make a formulation. But vitamin B1 is definitely something that gets used in those vitamin hormone products, and I may or may not add it to mine. May or may not. I have a meeting with my formulator on Monday to discuss some details. True details. Even like the dust control of the powdered product. That's even a detail that we're going to be discussing. That's how like That's how into it I'm getting with this product. I'm like, I don't want people to open a container and have dust flying everywhere, like, and be coughing up a lung and shit. Like, how do we mitigate the dust? So those are the little things that I'm thinking of, and trying to do this shit right. D's Bud says, yeah, I bet they did nothing to help you. Said I would. The purer the better. $10 for raw dog, 100%. Yeah, for the $10 price point. Jay Wiss says, sign me up for the Clone Coach Magic Dust. Yeah, let's get some names, y'all. Why don't we brainstorm some names? It's going to be a white powder. It's going to be concentrate. It's not going to be ready to use. Um, you know, clone, if you got some brainstorming names, just put it in. And if you pick the winner, you fucking know that I'm going to do something to take care of you, right? Fucking free powder for life or something. I don't know. Like, if it's something good, let's brainstorm a little bit about what that rooting concentrate powder that I've been talking about, what the name could be, what we could name it. If the name comes from the team, even better, dude. Like, how cool is it to be part of the development and the naming of a new product? And tell me what company does that? Nobody. Fire Course is the purer the better. Jay Wiz says, sign me up for that Clone Coach Magic Dust. HBD Grow says, put me in, coach. If Fire Course says, sure, it's a deal. Many forms of application and not paying for water. Win-win. Boom, boom. HBD Grow says, Clone Cane. We got Magic Dust, Clone Cane. That's hilarious. Let's get some more brainstorming, guys. Yeah, let's have some fun with this shit here, because we're at the end of the episode. I didn't even know we're at the end of the episode already. I got to do the giveaway, but I want to hear some brainstorming thoughts on what we can name this concentrate here. Bingo 303 says Roots Raw. Let's throw that on there. Roots Raw. Booger Sugar from earlier, but that's a little bit too direct. Maybe. Mainline Genetics says Zombie Juice. See, it's not a liquid though. It's not a liquid. So something to do with the powder. Play on words on that shit, or concentrate or something. Zombie Dust? No. And what about, like, the clones and the rooting and stuff? Like, how do we mix that in shit? Mainline Genetics says that's too intense. Yeah. Can of powder from D's Buds. Yeah, guys, what do you got? Let's think of this little brainstorm session. I like this shit. This is fun. I think I'll be doing some stories and some polls, and probably do this a bit more throughout the next lives to get some more insight. Jay Wiz says, hi, I like the clone cane. D's Buds says powdered roots. That's funny, guys. Jay Wiz says Clonade, like Kool-Aid, is concentrated powder. I like where your head's at, Jay Wiz. Clonade. Like Kool-Aid. Root-Aid. What about Root-Aid? Root-Aid, Instead of Clonade, it's roots. We're aiding the root development here. It is a rooting concentrate. It is a rooting hormone there. Root-Aid. I like that one too. All right, guys. We're going to do this giveaway, though. I'm going to pick a winner between 1 and 420. We're going to pick a random number here. Find our winner. We're going to continue this brainstorming session, though. We're going to continue this brainstorming session all week. So stay tuned on the stories. Stay tuned. I'll probably make a post, a reel or something this week, asking for your insight. So I do appreciate everybody that's been a part of this live here this evening, episode 36, Clone Questions Live, being a part of the journey of creating a product, bringing a product to market, the future customers be a part of the development of it. I think it's fucking cool. So get your guesses in now, everybody. Get your guesses in now. Last chance to enter your guess between 1 and 420 for your chance to win a quick guide from clonecoach.com, which is a one-page snippet of the full SOP from clonecoach.com. If you haven't joined the team today, stop wasting time. Don't make another batch of clones before you grab the Clone Coach SOPs from clonecoach.com. Let me catch up here. Mainline Genetics says Root-Aid or Clone-Aid sounds legit. D's Bud says Crystal Roots. I'm thinking like powdered sugar. I don't want to say like powder because I don't want people to use it like ready to use and get it confused. I don't know. Crystal Roots. Let's see here. Raiz from Frowny Guapo, Raiz. Root 8 is cool from Firecore. That's the one I thought of there. VX's guess is pi, 3.1, and also 666. But the numbers only go from 1 to 420, so that guess is not going to let you win there, buddy. Firecore says, thanks for the knowledge, coach. Thanks for joining, man. Thanks for joining. This is every week I'm like a little bit more nervous to like, hey man, what kind of value are we going to bring this week? We've been doing this shit for 36 weeks now. Now you're doing 2 episodes a day. You know, that now we're probably like episode 40 something for an hour each episode live. Not easy to like maintain quality, but it's all about participation too and being a part of the journey. So I appreciate everybody that's here watching, here joining the live, here participating in the comments and everything else. But the show must come to an end. Here we go. We're gonna pick our winner here. Number between 1 and 420 gonna get generated now, and excuse me. The random number this evening is 123. So D's Buds is super close with 121. Is anybody going to beat that? I'm going up in the chat, so if you enter your guess now, it's too late. 127, just over. 123 is the random number this week. In the lead is D's Buds with 121. I'm going to look through the entire chat. I'm scrolling up in the chat to see if anybody got 122 or 123, because that's the only thing that's going to let you win at this point, because we got a guess of 121 and the random number this week is 123. And just so you know, you guys, I just Google random number generator and type in 1 to 420 and let it rip. 315, nope. Let me find either 122 or 123, or else D's Buds wins it. 127, nope, just over. 187 on your guess, because that shit died. 121, no, that's D's Buds already. He guessed it twice. He or she guessed it twice. 121 is in the lead. 146, 218, nope. 369, not happening this week. 127, nope. 225, 199, 115, nope. 197, 273. That's it. It was a pretty easy chat to get through. These buds. With that late guess, you snug it in there, man. These buds took it. If you guys don't believe me, here, check this out. The random number is 120. And these buds guessed 121. So these buds, let me get the full handle there, 94. Keep an eye out for a DM from me, D's Buds. Thank you for joining this live. I'm going to shoot you a discount code for your free copy of the 14-Day Quick Guide on clonecoach.com, a one-page snippet from the full SOP. Glad to have you on the team. Congratulations. Thanks to everybody that joined this episode of Clone Questions Live. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for joining. D's Buds, congratulations. It's good. It was a good episode. D's Buds was almost head on. Yep. And Jay Wiz, thanks for some of that insight on those names as well. Took all those little samples down. We'll play a little brainstorming session on that. Congratulations, D's Buds. I'm gonna shoot you a DM. In the meantime, have a great night, everybody.